You think you're winning because you finished another course, but you're actually just running on a treadmill. Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're the kind of person who geeks out over learning, growing, and optimizing every tiny detail of your day, you are absolutely in the right place. But today, we're flipping the script. We're going to look at personal development through a completely different, much more uncomfortable lens. One that questions the whole foundation of how we approach our own success.
It's a harsh reality, right? We're so obsessed with self-improvement that it's quietly, almost invisibly, become our favorite hiding place from actual risky work. I mean, think about that treadmill metaphor for a second. You're sweating, you're running for miles, putting in all this incredible effort, but when you finally step off, you haven't actually moved a single inch. We've somehow convinced ourselves that relentlessly preparing to do the work is the exact same thing as actually doing it. And we're totally blind to the fact that we aren't moving forward in the real world at all.
Okay, let's be real for a second. Honestly, how many half-finished courses, bookmarked articles, or unread books do you currently have stashed away for later? We all have that digital graveyard of good intentions, but if getting ready is taking up all of your time, you're basically just standing perfectly still. You're spending all your energy meticulously preparing for a project, or a business, or a life that you're never actually starting.
So let's get into the first big piece of this, the optimization trap, and that false sense of accomplishment it gives us.
We're living in an era where AI habit trackers and these hyper-aesthetic productivity apps are playing massive mind games with us. Seriously, they create this incredibly powerful but entirely fake sense of progress. We get trapped in this loop where organizing our goals or perfectly color-coding a calendar gives our brains the exact same dopamine hit as actually achieving a meaningful milestone. It feels exactly like forward motion, but honestly, it's just empty motion.
There's a name for this whole dynamic, and it's called productive procrastination. It's when we consume all this high-level info just to dodge the anxiety of low-level, messy execution. It's the ultimate disguise, really. It tricks our ambition into thinking we're working incredibly hard, all while shielding us from the vulnerability of doing the actual work. Let's face it, it is so much easier and way safer to read a book about business strategy than it is to pick up the phone and risk getting rejected by a real client. It's a very sophisticated hiding place.
Which leads us straight into our second point, the illusion of knowledge, and why this is really just a zero-sum game.
Picture this. On one side, you've got the rush, the dopamine spike, of finishing a masterclass or a deeply insightful book summary. You close your laptop feeling smarter, more capable, and totally inspired. But on the flip side, you have the absolute zero-sum gain of never actually applying a single lesson from it. Consuming knowledge feels incredibly productive in the moment, for sure, but without application, that inspiration just evaporates. The net result out there in the real world is essentially zero, leaving you right back where you started yesterday.
Look at how we split our time here. Most of us are hanging out in the curation economy on the left. It's totally safe. We're perfectly organizing our ideas, endlessly tweaking our habit trackers, just seeking that internal clarity. It's clean, and it's 100% within our control. But real progress? That only happens over in the execution reality on the right. That means testing your ideas in the market, producing messy, high-stakes output, and dealing with unpredictable external resistance. The curation side is a safe bubble. The execution side is where reality lives, and, yeah, where feedback can actually sting.
And here's where it becomes a major identity crisis. We desperately cling to the safety of being a perpetual student. Because, hey, there's profound psychological safety there. If you're just studying, nobody can tell you your work sucks, right? Because you haven't actually made anything yet. It is genuinely terrifying to step off that treadmill and become an amateur practitioner, someone who actually puts themselves out there, faces the public, and might just fail flat on their face. So to protect our egos, we retreat right back to the cozy safety of our books and our courses.
All right, let's shift gears to part 3, facing the friction gap and moving our focus to real-world reality.
Your primary mission from here on out is this. Stop endlessly refining your internal mindset. Seriously, you are optimized enough to start right now. What you need to do is start navigating the external resistance of real-world projects. True leverage isn't going to be found in tweaking an already perfect morning routine. It's found by colliding with the messy, unpolished reality of putting your work into the world, hitting snags, maybe failing publicly, and seeing what actually happens when your ideas meet reality.
This completely flips how we consume information. The whole self-improvement industry loves to sell us just-in-case knowledge. You know, like learning exactly how to scale a business to $1 million before you even have a single paying customer.
It's pre-project planning that actually acts as a massive anchor dragging down your speed. Real creators, though, they rely entirely on just-in-time information. They only hunt down specific, targeted knowledge when they hit a literal brick wall and need to figure out a mid-project pivot.
So how do we fix this? Enter Section 4, the 80-20 execution pivot. This is our radical framework moving forward.
If you really want to snap out a productive procrastination, you need an 80% reduction in passive consumption. And this takes serious discipline. You have to actively cut out the endless podcasts, hit unsubscribe on those self-help newsletters, and literally put the books away. By ruthlessly slashing what you consume, you're artificially restricting your inputs. That forces the remaining 20% of your time and energy directly into high-impact, tangible action, the kind of output that actually moves the needle. And here is the radical rule that drives this whole engine. Listen closely. Learning is strictly permitted only as a direct response to a specific problem you've hit while doing the actual work. Think about how uncomfortable but absolutely powerful that is. You are basically no longer allowed to prepare. You forbid yourself from seeking knowledge until a real, immediate obstacle stops you in your tracks. Doing this guarantees that every single thing you learn from now on is immediately tested and applied.
Finally, Section 5. Building a creator-first identity and making that leap from a consumer to an actual practitioner. To build this new identity, we have to totally redefine what success even looks like. Success isn't about how zen you feel, or the aesthetic vibe of your morning routine, or even your supposed mental clarity. Out in the real world, success is strictly measured by the volume of your finished work. You have to disconnect your self-worth from how optimized your life looks behind closed doors, and attach it purely to what you actually ship, publish, launch, or complete. So here's your exact roadmap to make the pivot starting right now. Step 1. Honestly admit you've been running on that productive procrastination treadmill. Step 2. Kill all just-in-case learning cold turkey. Just close the tabs. Step 3, and this is the absolute most terrifying one, start a messy project as a total amateur practitioner. Just embrace the mess. And finally, Step 4, only let yourself consume new info when you inevitably hit a roadblock in that messy project. I want you to really let this profound truth sink in. The version of yourself you are trying to optimize only exists once you start producing results. You literally cannot prepare your way into becoming the person you want to be. You can't read your way into true confidence or competence. That optimized, hardened, successful version of you, they only emerge through the actual friction of doing the work and battling the resistance of reality.
So I'm going to leave you with this one final, challenging question. If success is truly measured by what you finish, what is the one specific thing you are going to stop preparing for and actually start executing on right now, today? It's time to step off that comfortable treadmill of the perpetual student, face the friction, embrace the sheer, awkward discomfort of being an amateur practitioner, and go build something real today. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer. I'll catch you in the next one.